Alright guys, Rabbits RC here. Name's Roger. For those of you who haven't been tuning in, this is going to be part 3 or part 4 of the build series on the WPL C14KM. This time we're going to be putting on the electronics, soldering up the motor, getting those things working, testing everything out before we actually install them into the truck, just to make sure that we don't get them all installed and then realize that they're not working. So we're going to test everything on the outside of the vehicle before we install it, to make sure that everything's working properly. Sorry my videos have been a little shorter than usual. The RAM on my Chromebook is getting real shy, and it's not letting me process any of my videos that are longer than 4 to 5 minutes long. Hopefully in the near future I'll be able to get another laptop that's got a little bit more memory and processing power, maybe even with a little bit better video editing system on it. But for the meantime, we're just going to have to make little short videos for the time being until I can afford to get some more higher tech to get these videos upgraded and get the editing a little bit better as well. I'm learning as I'm going along. I really appreciate everybody that's sticking with me and watching these videos. Once again, you know, I hate to sound like everybody else out there. You know, click the like button, hit the subscribe, and turn that notification bell on so that you know when we post up new videos. Wife's getting better with her ankle, therefore able to do a little bit more than what I was able to do about a month ago. Still not at full capacity of making videos and editing as I want to be, but I really appreciate those that are hanging in there with me. If you're new to the channel, you know, stay on track. Look back at all the other videos I've made. I've got big plans coming in the future. Got a couple more trucks on order. I believe I got a crawler coming and a surprise from the wife, so I don't know what that vehicle is yet. But we got some more vehicles coming to make some videos on and doing upgrades. So stay tuned and thank you. Have fun. Alright, in this video we're going to be attempting to solder these wires onto these motor leads right here. So we're going to do this. I've never soldered before, so this should be quite interesting. But as you can see right here, there's a red dot on the one side. So I'm going to connect the positive terminal to that and hope that that's going to be the right direction of spin on this motor, so that when I plug it into the ESC and pull the trigger, the vehicle goes in a forward direction. So I'm going to try to tin the end of this connector right here and see if I can get this soldered on here. It's trying. Get some heat on here and see if I can get this tinned real quick. Well, takes a very steady hand to do this, and unfortunately for me, my hand is not the steadiest. There we go. Got a little bit there. What we're going to do is try to heat that back up. Plug this red wire into there. That looks pretty good. I'll try to do it with the same thing with this negative side here. Apply some heat. Get a little dab on there. See if we can get this fed through that hole on this side. Then what we'll do, flip it over on this side and add a little bit more solder on the back side just to ensure good connectivity. Hoping y'all can see this in the camera lens there. soldered in pretty good. May not be the best job ever seen, but let's see if we can get that into the camera lens right there. But as you can see, they're not budging, so we'll set the soldering iron down there. I had something over here for the soldering iron. I'll grab another one. Just make sure that we get one of these copper things right here and just kind of clean off the end of this solder gun before we unplug it. And
what is that meant for?
Make sure that we got a good clean solder gun for next time. I don't know how often I'm actually going to use a soldering gun, but get her cleaned up a little bit and then we'll cut that off. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take all the electronics, and I've plugged them into their corresponding positions here.
Except for this.
And if you look at this diagram right here, this diagram will tell you, oh, let me raise you all up so give you a little bit better view. Alright, so this diagram goes over all the different connections. Oops, I'm holding it upside down for y'all. Alright, it goes over all the connections, where they're supposed to go, the positive and negative polarity is on each plug-in. So as we can see here, the motor's down here. Positive is going to be the inward, negative is going to be the outward, and the only one that you really have to worry about that on is the battery, because you want to make sure that the battery is plugged in properly. Otherwise you can burn up your ESC by plugging it in backwards. So other than that, everything else as far as the motor and the on-off switch can go in either way. But we're going to plug it all up and see if we can get this thing working in here.
Have you plugged this
See
in?
if I can raise my light up a little bit. Get some more light on the subject. So we're going to plug this in, like I said, with the red side on the inside. I wish they gave us a little bit longer leads, but so let's plug that in. Once we have all those plugged in the proper way that I think they're going to be plugged in, this way what it'll also do is when I turn it on, it'll also center my servos so that I can put the servo horns on it and make sure that when I install them in the truck, I don't have to pull them back out to recenter the servo horns on there. So give me a second, we'll grab the battery, plug the battery into it, and hook it up. Alright, now we have the battery plugged in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the remote on. Turn that on. Oh, all my servos are centered now. We have to bind that so we can see the headlights are on, which lets us know that we are bound to it. Well, that's the speaker for the turn signals. If I can get that to sit right. Alright. Starts up. That sounds like a diesel. I specifically ordered a petrol, but as you can see, we got both forward and rear reversing. Let's see if I can turn the speaker off because we don't need the speaker on. And then of course we've got, I believe we got a shifting gears, and that works. So
sounded like the Monster Jam.
let me see how this is. Sit there, and actually I'm going to put a servo horn on it so I can see what I'm looking at here. I got a little bag here. That light is bright in that one section. Let's see if we can make it a little bit better. Well, no, that's too much shading. There we go. It's got a little shadowing in the video, but I can work with what I got. So we're gonna put this little servo horn on here and see which direction it's got to go on. And we go to shift gears. Oh, wrong button. So that's not right. So what we need to do is this will be this direction. Trying to think of which way it's going to go in the truck. I believe. Oh, I believe this is going to be the correct direction, and then shift gears again. There we go. And that should be the shifting servo, which is going to shift this into second gear. So what we'll do is this will probably mount in this like so. And that'll go in like so. So that when we shift gears, we hit that gear shifter. Yep, it'll work once it's in its final resting place, but I'll throw a screw in that and that'll work as well. And then of course this servo is centered, so when I flip this remote over and we steer it, we make sure that we're centered on there, so this servo horn can actually go and be mounted onto here. So we're going to do that and get it all installed in the vehicle. I just wanted to make sure that those solders were working. All my electronics are working on it. Let's see if I can turn off the lights. There we go. So now the lights are turned off. Turn back on. It's cool. They're a little dull, like old school headlamps, halogens instead of the newer LEDs that a lot of the cars have anymore, but it'll give it a more realistic look, and that's pretty cool. So I'm kind of excited to see this thing in the vehicle and get it running. Alright, thanks guys. On to the next step.